Okie dokie dokie.
Bang, 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 bang. Ah, fuck. 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 Alright, let's start again. Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, the Man Welding. And as you can see, we got a little bit of a change of scenery around here. A rather nice change of scenery, if I do say so myself. And I got something exciting news to share with everybody. That is the fact that I recently bought myself a brand new car. And not just any car, probably, definitely, the most controversial car, and I love it, and I want to talk about it. So, as you may be able to deduce, given the background, I did the unthinkable, guys. I bought a Tesla. You know, a lot of people have been asking me, Steven, why on earth would you buy a Tesla? Well, turns out I have my reasons. And that's why I wanted to make this video. You know, I wanted to get on here and discuss my thought process behind doing what I did and how I feel about it. So, to address the elephant in the room, no, I am not a Nazi. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we can move forward with the discussion. So, why did I buy a Tesla? Well, let's start with, what was I driving before I got this car? Well, I was driving a 2010 Toyota Tundra, and which most of you know is a truck, right? And if you're watching my channel, you probably know, it should be pretty obvious, that I'm a welder by trade. That's my profession, right? I'm a professional welder, and I've been doing it for the last 10 years. And throughout the course of my career, what that meant is that it was very beneficial, and at some points it was necessary for me to own a truck, right? There was a time for a while where I was trying to run my own mobile welding business, so I had a welder in the back of my truck. I was regularly hauling material, and I needed the bed for hauling. I had a trailer that I would tow, and you know, a truck was just a necessity for me professionally. And for those of you who drive trucks, you know that once you've been driving a truck for a while, it's kind of hard to jump into a car, to ride in a car. It just feels so different, you know? You get used to sitting up high, you get used to being able to go off-road and go over curbs, and you know, driving a truck is a great feeling, and I love my truck. But my needs changed, guys. I'm not necessarily doing so much welding anymore. As you may know from my most recent video, I recently became a certified welding inspector, and beyond that, I'm also a welding instructor. Sorry, just had to fucking pass that guy. Holy shit. Alright, so let's get back to it. You know, so my point is, I'm not hauling around a welding machine anymore. I'm not doing mobile repair work. I'm not towing a trailer. I'm not doing any of that shit. The majority of my driving these days is what I'm doing right now, and that's commuting back and forth to and from my job. And as you can see, you know, it's a relatively nice, easy drive. My commute is currently 30 miles each direction, and I'm doing that 5 days a week. So it doesn't really take a rocket scientist to figure out that using a big 8-cylinder truck to commute upward of 60, 70 miles a day, 5 days a week, is not the most logical mode of transportation, right? And not only that, you know, my truck, it was at this point 15 years old. The technology was antiquated. It didn't have a lot of the modern amenities that most people have come to know and love. So you know, I'm at a point in my life where I'm making decent enough money. I've made wise financial decisions, and I'm not in a position where I'm struggling to meet my financial responsibilities, and I have some expendable income, right? Now, for a long time, I struggled with the fact of allocating my disposable income away from additional saving and investing into something like a depreciating asset, such as a vehicle, right? A car payment, especially with the price of cars nowadays. You know, it's a tough pill to swallow when you've owned your vehicle outright for a long time to get back into a car payment, especially a car payment, you know, that is a significant amount of money. So anyways, long story short, guys, it's been on my mind for a long time. I wanted something different, and about a year and a half ago, I did something different, and I went and I bought my first motorcycle, and that was great. You know, it kind of satisfied that itch for the time being of wanting something new, something fast, something exciting. And you know, I bought a brand new motorcycle off the showroom floor, and I drove it all the time, and I still have it, and I love it, and it's a thrill. But the reality is, it's more of a toy than a reliable and consistent commuting vehicle. You know, I live here in South Florida during the summers. It's constantly raining. There's a lot of bad drivers on the roads, and you know, people are dying in motorcycle accidents here basically every single day. And you know, despite what some people may think based off of my actions sometimes, I really do value my life and my health, and you know, I don't want to end up a fucking smear on the asphalt. And so anyways, I got a motorcycle, and that kind of held off the desire for a new vehicle for a while. But once I got this new job, you know, I find myself driving 30 miles every morning, driving another 30 miles every day in the afternoon coming home, plus any additional driving I do throughout the day or week and on the weekends. And you know, so I started researching different vehicles that I might be interested in, and what was my criteria, right? What was I looking for? Well, I wanted something new. Not that I'm against buying something used. You know, I understand the value in buying a slightly used vehicle in terms of the obvious depreciation. As you guys may or may not know, the last couple years up until now, the car market's just been completely bonkers. It's all over the place. Interest rates are crazy. Used car prices are high. And you know, when I compared the pros and cons versus slightly used and going brand new, I just kind of landed on the fact that I wanted something brand new. I wasn't completely opposed to buying something used, but what I am completely opposed to is paying a ridiculous interest rate on a vehicle, right? I'm just not going to do that. And you know, what's considered ridiculous is subjective to the individual. But for me, anything over like 3% was just basically out of the question. And you know, I wanted something fast. I wanted something nice. You know, I didn't want like a base model with like cloth seats and roll down windows and like a tiny little bullshit screen with shitty cameras. Like, if I'm going to be spending all this money on a new vehicle, I don't want to, you know, I want to get something that I'll be able to enjoy and appreciate for at least 5 or 6, 7, 8 years. So I'm thinking kind of long term with my purchase. Obviously, a big reason why I wanted to get out of my truck, beyond it just being old and me having shiny object syndrome and wanting something new, is that it was pretty bad on gas. So I was spending quite a lot of money in gas. My truck had 160,000 miles on it. So, you know, the Toyota Tundra is a reliable truck. It's got, you know, a bulletproof engine for the most part. Most people tend to agree on that. But there is a fair amount of maintenance required every so often. And that's just money that I figured I could be putting into something else. So I wanted something fast. I wanted something new. I wanted something with decently modern technology. I needed to have a low interest rate. And those were really my big concerns that I was looking for. So I looked at a lot of trucks. You know, I seriously considered getting a Dodge. I like the Rebel. I was seriously looking at the Rebels. I like F-150s, man. I've come to appreciate Fords and their vehicles and their trucks specifically. I was looking at like maybe a Subaru WRX STI. I was looking at fucking, you know, Mustangs and Camaros and Corvettes, and I like Cadillacs, you know, the CT4, the Vs. Fuck, man, there's just a lot of really cool cars out there that are appealing for me at this point in my life. So what did I end up buying, and why did I buy it? Well, if you haven't realized by now, I bought a Tesla, right? And funny enough, I bought a Tesla at a time in history where Tesla has just come under major fire from, you know, this whole debacle with Elon Musk and throwing up his fucking, you know, what people consider to be a Nazi salute and all this shit. Now everyone says, you know, Tesla supports fascists and they're Nazis and all this bullshit, which, do I really buy into any of that? No. Do I think Elon Musk and Tesla are a bunch of Nazis? Obviously not, or I wouldn't have bought one. But my decision to purchase a car wasn't based on any of that nonsense, right? The reason why I decided to go for a Tesla is because I have a pretty good understanding of what it's like to live with one, right? My wife has been driving a Model 3 for the last 5 years. She's on her second version. You know, she had one in 2020. She drove that for a couple years, and then when they released the refresh, she sold her car and bought a refresh Model 3. And that car has been absolutely, both of those cars have been absolutely incredible. You know, we've taken plenty of road trips in them. She commutes daily with them. They just always work. They're comfortable. They're fast. There's been zero issues. And I've just been thoroughly impressed with the vehicle. And, you know, I've driven it a few times, and obviously it's fast, it handles well, and, you know, I've always liked Teslas. Even when the, you know, when the liberals loved them and the conservatives hated them, you know, whatever political party's opinion is of the brand or the vehicles or EVs in general, never really influenced my opinion one way or the other. I've always kind of appreciated Teslas for what they are. I don't think they're God's gift to earth. You know, I don't think they're the most amazing cars ever. You know, I think there's a lot of value. I think you get a lot of car for the price that you pay, and I trust them to be reliable. I trust them to be safe, and I trust them to be a hell of a good time. So recently, Tesla advertised a 0% APR financing offer for well-qualified buyers. And I had always told myself that if the Model 3 ever offered a 0% financing, that I would probably seriously consider pulling the trigger on one. And the financing option became available, and I qualified for it. And after much deliberation, I just decided that this car suits my needs very well. So I ended up purchasing a brand new Model 3 Performance. That's right, I got the Performance. And you see, I'm cracking a big ass smile because the car is just fucking awesome, dude. I've had it for almost 2 weeks now. I put over 1,000 miles on it, and I love the car. You know what I mean? And I did something else that a lot of people think is totally stupid and crazy, is I paid an additional $8,000 for full self-driving. And I've been using it a lot, you know, and a lot of people have strong opinions about FSD. They say it's not worth the money, it should be free, it's still in beta, you know, we're a bunch of guinea pigs, it's gonna drive me off the road and kill me, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I'm not saying that those opinions aren't valid, but for me, why did I purchase it? Well, there's two reasons, right? One is because of this exact fact right here, that I can sit here and have my car drive me home from work, and I can focus on making a YouTube video and, you know, just kind of multitask in a sense, right? Instead of just having to drive my truck and, you know, stay fully focused on the road, I can, you know, have pretty decent confidence that my car is going to get me where I need to go safely, and I can direct my attention to expressing myself and making some content, right? And I think that's cool because I enjoy making these videos, but I don't always make time to do it. And since I have roughly a 45-minute commute each direction, I figured this would be an opportunity for me to utilize some of my time a little bit more efficiently. Jesus Christ, though. Look at that. So fucking FSD just swerved all up in the other lane because of a fucking plastic bag, or because this truck in front of me swore. I don't know what that was all about. So obviously, as we sit here and talk, you know, it's not a perfect system. You still have to pay attention to the road and be ready to take over. But in the granted very limited amount of time I've been using it, I've been thoroughly impressed by what this car can do in terms of its self-driving capabilities. So yeah, I paid $8,000 for FSD. The other reason is because I wanted to get this car in a different color than the free option, which is stealth gray, right? Or some people refer to it government incentive gray, which I think is pretty funny. And you know, my wife's got a Model 3 and hers is stealth gray, and I sure as fuck don't want to be driving around in what looks to be the exact same car as my wife. You know, I wanted something different. I seen the Quicksilver color and I thought it looked good, and I wanted to get it. But if you do not purchase full self-driving, then that's a $2,000 premium paint option, and it disqualifies you from the $7,500 federal tax credit. So I kind of justified it in my mind by saying I can get the color that I want, and it's kind of like paying $6,000 for FSD and getting the color that I want and still receiving the federal tax credit. So that's how I justified it. Yeah, it's expensive, right? Like, I spent a lot of money on this car. I put $6,500 down plus the $7,500 federal tax incentive that counts towards your down payment. So that ended up being like a $14,000 down payment. Now, the financing offer is 0% for 60 months, and that leaves me with roughly a $900 car payment, which is absolutely insane. I never in my life thought I would be the fucking guy with a $900 a month car payment. I always watch all these videos on YouTube that basically all these people talking about how people with high car payments are fucking stupid and they're gonna be broke forever. And, you know, in a big portion of me agrees with that. It is really dumb to fucking have a $900 a month car payment. But I think there's some caveats there. One is it's 0%, right? Now, I know what everyone's gonna say, and I fully understand that buying this car brand new, I'm losing a shitload of money on depreciation. You know, this car, by the time I pay it off, it's probably gonna have depreciated $40,000, right? I completely understand that, but I can live with that. You know what I mean? I'm not too worried about it. I acknowledge it. It's valid. It's true. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. I can live with it. You know, my retirement is healthy. I have money saved. Like, my bills are relatively low. I'm not in consumer debt outside of this vehicle. And, you know, I'm able to fit that payment into my budget without me really having to sacrifice any quality of life or anything like that. I have a very stable source of income. I like my job. I mean, there's growth in terms of my employment opportunity and my earning potential. So all in all, was it a wise financial decision? You know, absolutely not. It was probably a really bad financial decision, but, you know, I work hard. I've done a lot to make myself very proud in the last couple of years, and I felt like I wanted to treat myself, and I did, you know. And I would say my quality of life on the day-to-day has improved, and I don't regret the purchase. And people can have their opinions, And that's fine, right? I got my opinions too. But all in all, so that's that, right? And I don't really want to discuss any of the technical aspects of the car. I think that's been done to death. I'm not the guy to do that. But the car is extremely fast. It handles extremely well. It's comfortable. Some of my absolute favorite features are the full self-driving, the heated and ventilated seats. You know, I went and got the car tinted. I wish I would have got the tint a little bit darker, but you know, what's done is done. I like the carbon fiber accents on the performance model. I am pretty unimpressed with the quality of the paint. You know, there's issues, and for a brand new car, especially a premium paint option, it's pretty despicable how bad the paint is. But it's a fucking car, guys. I'm gonna drive it. I'm not trying